I think, maybe, just maybe, we're live. And not only are we live, but it's a special live. Because our family has grown a little bit, and right now we also have some Instagram people hopefully in here, which is pretty freaking awesome. So right now, we have people from my Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So welcome everybody. I will monitor all your comments because I can, and that's part of the fun here. I hope I can at least. We'll see. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's just, hey, Walter Green, awesome man. How you doing? Long time no see. And as you can see, somewhere here in the background is everything piled up. It's just a big messy pile. That's the way I like it. And yeah, it also, the reason it's such a mess is because I'm lazy. No, just kidding. Well, that could be part of the reason, but even more so, I'm constantly moving things around. And I don't really like, you know, like my pedal board, it's a work in progress. If I don't change my sound all the time, it gets boring. So if I want to change the order of the pedals, remove some, and just do stuff all the time, there's really no point in tidying it up, you know? So yeah. Let's see what's happening. Oof. So that's not good. Facebook, Instagram doesn't allow me to scroll very much here, so hope I didn't miss any comments. Walter Green, did you say anything else? Okay, well, I'm very happy to have all you people here. Yeah, we can do a lot of stuff. You know, we can grab something from the background and bring it to the foreground and touch it and play it. You decide. Anyhow, my idea, and I'm mentioning this mostly for the Instagram people, is to try and see if it works. This kind of multi-streaming on different platforms, if it works, because if it does, it just means I'll be able to keep in better touch with you guys, and that's something that's constantly haunting me. It's almost stressful. It's like, okay, I have these 4 platforms, and they're all pretty active, and you know, I just 4 live streams per week it's a little bit too much for me. I like to do these live streams whenever I'm in a good mood, so you get to see happy Chris and not angry or frustrated and pissed off Chris. And it doesn't happen 4 times per week. Well, I guess it does, but you know, it's a mood thing, right? So I want to be in the right mood when I do this. Yeah, so long story short, if I can multi-stream to several of you guys, it just makes my job easier. And yeah, and it has been working well with comments and that stuff. Enter text for chat. What's that? Writing comes. Okay. Hi. Well, I don't know if that worked. Okay, there we are. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. But I guess if you have any requests, just let me know. I'm just gonna turn on the amp so we can get some sound. And I'll dial in the right channel. I actually just recorded a bunch of videos for you guys. So hopefully the sound is decent. I'm actually experimenting quite a bit now. It's a lot of fun. Can never get enough of sound experiments. Yeah, I started dialing in a high gain sound for my Les Paul with the humbuckers, and it worked pretty well. But then I was like, yeah, what if I plug in the Strat into this? And it worked really well. These are of course stacked single coils, which means that they can manage high gain tones better than the humbucker. It's basically a humbucker in a Strat format. Hey Fred, what's up? Fred from YouTube, good to see you. So let's see if we have some sound here. Pretty nice. And you can see I have the 10-band EQ connected, and that's something I've been experimenting with. And it's just, I mean, the Mesa Boogie has a pretty good, I guess it's a 1, 2, 3, 5-band EQ, but it's not the same as a 10-band EQ. And I've really had some fun really tailoring in the distortion. The EQ goes into the loop of the amp, so it goes after the preamp where all the gain is added, the high gain. So that just means there's a lot of stuff to cut from, you know. In case you didn't know what gain does, it basically adds a lot of overtone and compression. It just adds stuff that wasn't there in the beginning, obviously, because if you play the guitar without connecting it, sounds really bad right now, but it doesn't sound the same as, right? So distortion adds a lot, and it also means you can sculpture it. So that's pretty cool. Sayori, what's up? Good to see you, man. So with a 10-band EQ, I can have a lot of fun just sculpting the sound. And actually that's one of my plans if I can just get to this multi-streaming to work, is maybe also to broadcast, like, you know, bring up a pedal here. I'll have to figure out the connections so we can kind of tweak it together. And that would be a fun experiment, just doing a lot of stuff with the 10-band EQ. Okay, but here we are. Can you guys hear the guitar? You need to be a scientist to understand sound engineering. Not really. I wouldn't say that. But you do. I think it's a good thing to understand that sound is pretty complex. I mean, when I started out... Oh, Marco can hear me clear. Thanks for confirming, man. Marco from Instagram. So when I started out, I thought that guitars basically sounded the same, and it was just a matter of looks, you know. A Strat looks different than a Les Paul, but other than that, you know, you just, you know, dial in on the amp and it's gonna sound the same. Now I understand that that's pretty far from the truth, and everything matters in the chain. So sometimes it's tempting to simplify things, right? It's like, well, if I can just assume that all guitars sound the same, then I can not have to worry about that, and I'll just worry about what amp to get. And I wish that were the case, but it's not. Every little thing matters on the guitar. Some more, some less, but it all matters. For example, yeah, I think that's enough for now. Cool, Sayori. So you do watch me at Instagram. Very happy to hear that. Yes, TG, the guitar scallop. Oh, it's a bit muddy. So Drickard is D Rickard maybe is the right way to say it. Is the guitar muddy, or is it my voice that's muddy? I can maybe. So guitar is muddy. So Tid. So these are people from Instagram asking me questions. Oh, just the guitar. Okay, I think that's the volume thing then. Is it better? Okay, is it better now? If it's far away, it should sound a bit better. Sound is really good. Awesome, man. Love your reels from Japan. So cool. Thank you, Uter from Instagram. So here's the scallop someone asked. And you can see this one is very widely scalloped and fairly deep. Not extreme, but fairly deep. And it goes all the way up. This is a very classic kind of Yngwie scallop, although maybe a bit more shallow than he would do it. I think he would remove even more wood, but this is fine for me. Fred enjoys the sound. Thanks, man, for confirming. Kurnion, play some blues for me. Okay. It's not very bright though. Oh, the EQ was off. Here we go. Holy Wars! I don't remember that one. It's like... It's like... I don't remember. So we started with blues and we ended up with Holy Wars. How did this happen? You guys made me do it. Thanks, bro, Kurnavan. Yeah! Badass. Thank you, Abel from YouTube. Okay, so yeah, I can just show you quickly. I started speaking about the 10 band EQ and we started saying, well, you need to be a freaking scientist to understand sound. But I think you're gonna hear the difference, even though this is obviously not the highest quality audio from a live stream. But you know, here's without the 10 band EQ. With it. Pretty big difference, right? I'll switch it on and off a couple of times and you can hear it. Off. On. Off. On. And there you can see it. That's it. Sorry, don't know Hotel California. Teach me a groovy riff. Prom from Instagram is asking that. That's a pretty cool request. What's a groovy riff? I'll take a risk and show you a groovy riff. Sorry. When you play a groovy riff, you just have to make funny faces. There's just no other way to do it. Let me see. Can I improve light here? I didn't improve anything there. Oh, this one's still on. Sorry about that. So let's see here. Just gonna fix some stuff here. This is actually one I intend on showing you. It's coming in one of the shorts, but I can show you right now because it's so groovy. It's a good one because it's not that hard to, I think, understand the notes. So we're just gonna fret the first fret on the A string, and then we're gonna slide up to the second fret, okay? Fairly easy. 1, 2, and then I think it gets even easier because we're gonna play the open D string. So the whole riff is pretty much, but what makes this 1, 2, 0 riff, I think, a little bit special is, well, the way you phrase it. There's a lot of way to do this. You can just do... That's okay. But the really groovy way to do it, and I would say that the bluesy way to do it, is actually to do it. So the first note, it acts as a passing note. You don't really accent it. So it's like, not like this. It's just enough for you to hear the slide up to the second fret. That's all you need to do. And then you play the open string. So that's kind of the idea here. Let me jam around with it so you can hear how it sounds. And then, of course, I go up and down, so it's like, you know, you can do all of that. But it's fun. It's a fun little riff. I can't get enough of it. And I seem to quite often venture into it if I'm kind of jamming, like. so we have a question from YouTube there by Gemini. What happens if I don't tweak the EQ, I mean flat or band, and then on the EQ, what change come to the tone? Can you explain? Okay, so the first thing you're gonna have to understand is that EQ is not something you can speak about in general. It's totally dependent on your chain, meaning your guitar and your amp and any pedals you have. So if you find any video on Instagram that tells you, oh, here are the EQ settings if you want to sound like, I don't know, Metallica, that's just bullshit, because it completely depends on your amp, you know? One amp EQ'd that way is gonna sound completely different from another one. So those videos are pretty much like an informational scam. So you can't say in general. You might have an amp where you leave the knobs like on 12 o'clock and it just sounds perfect. You can have another amp where you leave them at 0 and it sounds pretty good. The EQ knobs. Some amps are known for not being sensitive to EQing. I'm thinking like probably like a Marshall amp, like old Marshall amps. You know, you could turn the bass knob and it couldn't hear much of a difference. Fender, I wouldn't say as much, but Fender generally comes pretty scooped. So on some amps, doesn't really matter what you do with like the middle knob, or there is no middle knob on some amps. So it's just, you have to see it as a tool to color the sound. So if you play your amp and you're happy with it, then don't turn any knobs. But if you play your amp and it's like, I would like it to be a little bit more bassy, heavy bottom, that usually doesn't work for metal. But if you're playing like a clean tone, or maybe even, yeah, something like that, then maybe turn up the bass. It could be that, hey, my guitar can't really be heard, you know? I can't cut through, you know? I'm playing with my drummer and I'm not being heard. Turn up the middle knob. Try turning up the treble knob, maybe even the presence knob. These are tools for you to tweak your sound when needed. But if you don't hear the need, there's absolutely no need in turning the knobs. You can do it for fun and train your ears, but you know, there aren't any rules there. I mean, these amp manufacturers, they're just trying to give you the best possible tools. Especially if you buy like a digital amp these days, maybe you don't have to turn any knobs. The presets are so good. But if you don't, or not, if you'd like to tweak the tones, like you're happy with the bass sound, the basic sound, but you want it a little bit differently, that's when EQ comes in. If you're not happy with the sound at all, then EQ is not very likely to save you. Then maybe you need to try another patch, another amp, another something else. Maybe you need a high gain distortion pedal first, whatever, you know? These are all just tools, and it's very hard to say anything general about gear, like tweaking tone, because it's dependent on your chain. It's hard to say anything specific, but in general, you can speak about it. Prom wants to send me a riff. Go for it, man. Cool, Fender Mustang, sounds like fun. Masa from Japan, lots of people here from YouTube. Blackstar, yeah, can imagine. Don't forget the thumbs. Thank you, Charlotte, for digging it. So here's another thing to understand. The EQ I'm speaking about is a 10-band EQ, which happens in the loop of the amp. That's super important. It just means that I'm coloring the sound after I've added all the distortion in the preamp section of the sound. If you have a clean amp, like a Fender amp, and you want it to be high gain, then you're gonna have a high gain pedal in front of the amp. In that case, you would first have the high gain pedal. After that, in the chain, you would have your 10-band EQ, which would give you total control of all the distortion you got from your pedal. So yeah, let's try it some more. My 10-band EQ is here. It's there. That's it. If I turn it off, sounds very different, right? And that's because, again, I'm shaping the tone after all the distortion, so there's a lot of power into tone shaping at this stage. It makes much less of a difference if you plug your guitar directly into the EQ pedal and then into the amp. It's still useful, but it's a different thing. Whoops, dropped my pick. Okay, one more time. Without it. With it. Lemon sweater. I don't know, Little Wing. Something like that, maybe? No, that's Hey Joe. Guitar, 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 guitar. Remember that track? I love that. That's Peter Knowledge from like 15 years ago on YouTube. It's still there. It's a very cool track. My goal is to buy a Boss Katana 50. Yeah, that's supposedly a very good amp. I've never had a chance to try it, but I've read many good stuff about it. So if all goes well, I'm actually going to be sent a very cool product, which is called, I think it's the Live Dock A20 from, I think it's the company Sinido. But the whole point with it is that I'll be able to connect. We'll see, but I hope it'll be fairly simple for me to connect both microphone and mic'd amp into the live stream. And that would dramatically improve tone here, so we'll see. Fingers crossed. How can I get this tone in Zoom G1X4? Saga is asking. I can't tell you because I haven't tried that unit. If it's a fairly new unit, I'm pretty sure you can get close to this tone, fairly close. You probably won't get very close to the feel of playing it. That would sadden me if this rig is very expensive. So if I could just buy a Zoom multi-pedal, that would have been cool. It's not the same thing, but sound-wise, you can get very close to it. Yes, most likely. But I can't tell you how. You're gonna have to tweak, But if there is any patch that kind of resembles a Marshall amp, that would be a good start, because I'm using kind of the Marshall voicing on my Mesa Boogie amp to get this sound. In general, I think if it's, well, no, sorry. I was gonna say something stupid, so I refrain. How can I get this tone? I'll get rid of noise when I turn on the drive. Okay, that's a good topic. How do you... These are questions from Instagram, by the way. Yes, this is a Fender Strat. So how do you control noise? Sanjay from Facebook, what's up, my man? So the first thing to understand is there are lots of different types of noise. I would say this is a fairly quiet rig, but I can still make it noisy by playing sloppy, right? So that's probably more important than any piece of gear you're gonna buy, just to mute the strings you're not playing. I'm muting with the palm, I'm muting with my fingers. Check it out. I keep my fingers up here. I have my palm here. I play. That needs to be practiced at a slow tempo before you're gonna play fast runs that are clean. I also mute a little bit with here, like this part of the... So basically you want the strings you're not playing to sound like this when you pick them. That's the sound of a muted string that's not gonna bug you with noise. Right? That's one part. But if you play like vintage Stratocaster with vintage pickup, this is not vintage pickups. These are noise canceling pickups. Then you're gonna get noise when you turn off the gain. It's hard to avoid. But I've done other things to this guitar as well. I've shielded the inside with like copper tape and stuff like that. That also helps. It's many components, but in general, if you have a humbucker equipped guitars, like a Les Paul or usually like an Ibanez RG or something like that, it's gonna be less prone to noise and you can drive the amp harder with more gain. That's the general rule. How do you feel about putting your touch on some blues music? I like it, but I can't play any blues music except for my own jamming, Sagar from Instagram, agreed. That's also a silly comment of me. Sagar was saying he agrees with me, and I said I also agree with me. Sometimes your brain goes into, I don't know, recession or something. What's the word? I agree with myself. Newsworthy. Oh, MP likes my sound. Do you prefer electric or semi-electric? Pirate is asking that from YouTube. So I don't have any semi-electric. I'd like to have someone at some point. Or I have like a nylon string, solid body guitar, that would be it. But I'd like to have some like jazzy guitars. At some point, I think I'm gonna get myself one. Ooh, Miguel from YouTube is asking, can you give me some advice on guitar improvisation? Cheers from Mexico. Good question. So pretty much everything I play is improvised, and that's the way it's been for the last 10 or 15 years. I made that change when I was in a deep kind of guitar depression, and I didn't feel like playing for a long time. I didn't know what the issue was. I mean, we all go up and down in terms of how inspired we are, but this was really bad. So it's been like going on for almost like a year. Like, am I gonna stop playing guitar? Worse than that, guitar was my living, so it was problematic. And that's when I decided, hey, I need to make some radical changes. What is fun for me with playing guitar? Well, if I'm not working on like a specific song or something like that, then it's not fun for me to play like written material, whether it's my own or someone else's. The only thing that was fun was improvising, but I wasn't that good at it, so it's like, what am I gonna do? Am I just gonna stop playing? No, I'll just try to get better at it. And that was a good decision, because just within probably months, I started feeling much more enthusiastic and practicing much more, making more progress. So everything I do these days when I'm practicing, again, if it's not like a specific song maybe I'm working on or something like that, but that's very rare, it's all improvised. So if I want to get better at let's say just any random technique, tapping, then yeah, I'll just I use a metronome or a drum machine and try to get better at it. I messed up, so one more time. Watch. So of course, I mean, that's the downside with improvising. You never really know what's going to come out. Sometimes it's really crappy, and sometimes it can be really good. That's the whole point with it. That's where the excitement is, you know. Am I going to sound like shit today, or am I going to get some cool ideas? That's exciting. If I sit down and I'm going to play that Metallica riff, you know. Well, I know how it sounds. I could just listen to Metallica. They're going to do it much better than me anyway. So yeah. This is really what it's about for me now, and it's cool because it's an ever evolving kind of strategy and topic. You know, these days, well, I'm trying to work on everything, but you know, I'm maybe a bit more focused towards fixing my timing issues, and also getting better at just playing outside and involving, you know, some interesting maybe outside ideas. And I posted some of this stuff on my channel as well, or on my channels in plural. So if you want to find that stuff, just go back a couple of days and there are videos covering exactly that. And that's basically true for anything I do here. You're going to find videos covering it. Yes, Gemini from YouTube has spotted something important. He says, you're using pick and finger at the same time. And that's true. I do that a lot. And it's called hybrid picking, right? If you look at my right hand, you can see my fingers are working, right? Not always, but I would say a good 70% when I'm playing lead stuff, there are fingers involved. Right? It just helps me a lot. And hybrid picking is really your friend when doing legato stuff as well. So just like string skipping can be really tricky if you're trying to pick it, right? So that's hard, whereas with legato, it's almost like a breeze. And then if I add some hybrid picking, it's effortless. I mean, could be effortless. Compare that to... Ouch, it just hurts me thinking of it. So it's a good combo. It's you know, legato plus hybrid picking makes a lot of stuff easier. Not to say it's, you know, you're gonna learn that in a week, but it's a much more reliable and consistent technique than alternate picking. You know, you can work on that for decades and still, if you have a bad day, nothing works. Whereas for me, the legato stuff and the hybrid picking is like a fallback for me. Rattling coins. Chris, what boss pedals should I use to get a good clean tone? Interesting. I would go for any of the choruses. I'm actually looking to buy a boss chorus. There are some good boss delays as well. I don't remember what the classic boss choruses are called, like C20 or something like that. These are really good choruses. I mean, if you overdo it, you're gonna sound like you're playing the 80s, but some like that. Some classic stuff. Oh, Easy BCLS from YouTube, Mr. Goat, thank you, man. So Ikele from Facebook, I don't understand what you're saying. You need to post in English, please. Please show us a short basic lesson on pick and finger picking in any scale run. Slow tempo that we can try. YouTube. Okay, finger picking, you mean like pick and hybrid picking, right? That's a question from Gemini at YouTube, by the way. Thank you, Carl. So if you want to try picking fingers, I think even more, cool question there on Instagram. Have you ever experienced a depression as a guitarist? That's a good one. So I think more important than an example lick, because any lick you already know is a good lick to try with hybrid picking. But the reason it feels difficult is probably because you're making a pretty big picking movement. And if you pick like this and also try to throw in your finger, sorry for pointing it at you, by the way, this is going to be impossible. How is that finger going to be able to target a string when your picking is making it shift like all over the place? It's just throwing around that finger. You know, you can't use hybrid picking if you have a wrist movement like that. The only way you can do it is if you have a thumb joint movement, okay? Because if I pick the string like this, as you can see, my fingers are stationary, which means I can pretty much place them on a string and still pick another string here. So this is critical. If you're picking like that, it won't work. So grab any lick you already know. I don't know what. Whatever. Which you would typically play with your pick, right? And do it with... And the problem isn't, you know, to find a good lick, it's that you're probably playing it like this. And if you try to use your finger there, look at my fingers. My fingers are going all over the place. There's no way I can use them. You have to use the thumb joint movement. Then you're going to be able to easily throw in these fingers. That's what it's all about. So we have so many good questions coming from Instagram and YouTube. I'm almost overwhelmed here. But there was a really good one about how, if I've ever experienced a guitar depression. That's a good topic. We're going to speak about that. Or it's just a, have you ever experienced depression as a guitarist. Maybe you're asking just generally if, you know, I've been depressed. And I've been fortunate to not have any deep depressions, although I've seen them at very close distance or close range because I've seen them in the family, namely from my parents when I was young. But, you know, depression is everywhere in our society. It's just how much, right? Now, I've had some very difficult periods pretty recently, mostly due to my family situation and like my economic situation. Basically, there were times when family was so demanding, I couldn't get any proper work time, you know. I just got my 3 hours there and 3 hours there. And I run my own company, so if you've ever done that, you know how much work that can mean. And my company is based on me getting ideas. And if you're constantly stressed out and you never get any time, you have someone interrupting you all the time, try getting a good idea and realizing it's freaking impossible. So being in that kind of situation and seeing the economy completely deteriorate and wonder, or am I gonna be able to keep living on the same roof as my family? Are we gonna be able to keep the house and all that? That's very stressful, but I don't think it made me depressed. It just was very high levels of stress and anxiety. But depression is just like a physical disease, right? It needs to be treated. It can be very severe. And except the difference is you don't go to the doctor, you would go like to a psychiatrist, right? These days we have good tools. I would say that if you can't afford a psychiatrist, or if you're a country where the government doesn't subsidize that kind of mental care, you can still get pretty decent just from AI these days. So I think ChatGPT could help you. I'm not recommending it though, because you never know what it's gonna spit out. But just to say that I think in a way, if you acknowledge that you need help and you need to speak to someone, I think it's a little bit easier now than it was 10 years ago. Anyhow, treat it seriously. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. You cannot function if your mental health is broken. And for some weird reason, we can easily speak about, you know, having broken an arm, but we can't speak about having a broken mind, you know, and those are both very serious conditions. That's number one. But maybe you just asked me about do I have like experience from a guitar depression, and I had lots of those. Totally out of tune. About that, I shouldn't play Nirvana anyway. I'm crap at that. So if you have a guitar depression, that's better than having a real depression. But it can still be serious. And for me, I know that when I got serious about the guitar, that was, you know, if your goal is to play guitar for like 8 hours per day in practice, and you manage to find a schedule and time to do that, but all of a sudden the motivation isn't there, then you have a problem, right? And I experienced that quite a bit in my early practicing career. And it took me a while to understand how to deal with that. So it's also a good topic we could speak about. For me, it was about being proactive, and also about proactive as far as inspiring myself, you know? If I know that I'm gonna lose inspiration by just practicing in 3 days in a row, 8 hours per day, I need to throw in a bit of whatever gives me inspiration. And if you're inspired by, okay, good MP, so we're on the same page there. So if you're inspired by seeing other people play, for example, then you need to, on a daily basis, find new, interesting, maybe social media accounts to follow, or find nice We'll go attend a gig if there's something locally, or just, you know, watch cool concerts of the bands you like on YouTube, whatever. That kind of thing, just listening to good music is one of them, but it depends on you, you know, what triggers you and what causes you or what makes you want to practice and progress. For me, it was a mix of all of that, but also very actively do things that are not guitar related, okay? That's important. I can't just practice all day long, you know. Other things inspire me as well, so I need to go outside, and a lot of people don't have that problem, of course, because you know, they have work, they have school, and it's like a dream just to get home and get the practice time. But if you're fortunate enough to have a lot of practicing time, then you might still need to kind of inject other things in your schedule that are not guitar related, just to kind of make you long to playing again. And there's also another side of it, and this sounds like, I know it sounds like hocus pocus, some bogus stuff, but it's really true. If you don't live your life, or if you don't, you know, go out there and experience stuff, you won't have anything to say on the guitar. I know that sounds kind of stupid, but that's exactly the way it is. If you don't go outside and experience life, you won't have a story to tell on the guitar. And it's true, you know, whether you believe it or not. Things can be true even if you don't believe them. I'm just kidding, but some people think that's not the way it is. But there are so many examples of amazing guitarists with both technique and tone, but who haven't got a lot of things to say on the guitar, okay? So you need to find stuff to say on the guitar also. It's not just about mastering scales and stuff like that. It goes deeper than that, you know. You need your whatever you're playing on the guitar to fit a broader context where it's, you know, answers some important questions. You know, it might be the building block missing for that killer instrumental song, or maybe you know, the guitar is what you use when you need to you know, fulfill yourself somehow. You know, maybe you need it to relax, or maybe you need it to have a sense of purpose in life and all that. So kind of all weaves together. Cool. Andrew from Facebook is here again. Awesome. Kyoki from Facebook and from Hawaii. Yokoma Light. Hello, Christopher. From YouTube. Yokoma, are you Swedish? So yes, I hope MP from Instagram, does it make sense? You're the one who asked the question, but I just rambled a little bit. It's a big and important topic. Raphael, I missed the birthday post. Okay, so maybe we should just have a little bit of backing track, maybe. Do we have something groovier? Wrong key. Let's fix the sound of it. Exactly, go out there and play your music in front of people, and you're also gonna get practice ideas, for sure. Yokoma, you are Swedish. Var i Sverige bor du? So are levels okay? Can you hear both the backing track? MP from Instagram, love you, brother. Thanks a lot. Thank you, man. Ängelholm, Skåne, härligt! There's a place I'm not too often. My dad used to live in Malmö, so was there a little bit. So rattling coins from YouTube, is G7, CS3 and RV6 a good combination? I don't know what any of those are, sorry man. Those are probably like pedals, are they Boss pedals? I don't know. I like the new version of their classic choruses. That's a pedal I've been looking to buy for quite some time. Just haven't gotten to it yet. From Instagram, suggest me electric guitar as a beginner. I'd say maybe get like an S-style guitar, so like a Strat copy. Those seems to be really good value, and it's quite easy to upgrade the pickups later on. But ultimately it goes down to, find a guitar that you think looks cool. That's usually a good beginner guitar, because you just want to pick it up often. That's the only goal. You're most likely going to want to replace it within a couple of years anyway. That's how too many notes sound, in case you were wondering. But playing a lot of notes can be fun as well, Sometimes we have to treat ourselves as guitarists. Wondering about that, I uploaded a video this morning about glissando. You can find it on any of my platforms. It's just how to do that quick slide. The backing track now. Oops. Yamaha or Fender? FT from Instagram is asking. Yamaha. Oh, Pacific, I've heard good stuff about. And Fender Squire. Both are very good. So, you know, it's going to be down to price and looks, and if you can try the guitar first. That's a big one. Because if you can, and you think it feels okay, or you can bring a friend who knows more or whatever, that's going to be a major determining factor. Because, you know, even the same model, you know, every guitar is different. No way around it. I mean, it's wood, and humans have been involved in the process. It's going to be different. XCat Mafia from YouTube is asking, do you have any scale suggestions for beginner? Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm going to play the scale I suggest you learn. It's this one, right? Oh, wait, sorry. It looks fancy, but it's actually kind of easy to play. So I'm of course referring to the pentatonic scale, and a lot of people have probably seen it by now. And it looks a little bit boring just like that, right? But a lot of the stuff I do is using this. This doesn't look as boring, but it uses that scale. So you can do a lot of stuff with it once you master it, so it's a good place to start. But that's not the biggest reason why it's good, because it can actually be found in hundreds and thousands of different songs with great solos. Just listen to, you know, anything. I don't know, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, whatever. I mean, it's all over the place, the pentatonic scale. So it's not so much about learning the scale. It's actually much more important to learn other people's licks. And that's what I suggest you do first, because the scale shape itself isn't really helpful. Most people confronted with this box have no idea what to do with it. Yeah, I'm tuned down a half step. Tioki from Facebook spotted that. Thank you, man. So it's not so much about learning a scale, it's about learning licks, phrases, and patterns that can be found in your favorite solos. Once you know a couple of those, learning a scale is going to be easy. But many people just assume that, you know, you learn your first chords and you can play a song. So if you learn your first scales, then you can play a solo. But it doesn't work that way. You know, you can't start with a scale. You have to start with someone else's licks. That's the only way to do it. So search for like a tab from the licks from your favorite songs, especially if it's not too hard. I mean, if you're a fan of Yngwie Malmsteen, it's not going to be a good starting point. So yeah, I'll do some more pentatonics, and you can see just how crazy it gets with just pentatonics. I'll be playing like D major pentatonic. Sorry, my bad. Louis, what's up? Now major. Diego from Instagram, doing good, thanks for asking. So these are just pentatonics and extended pentatonics. This is, it looks fancy, but I'm using 2 boxes of the pentatonic scale here. Still just those 5 notes. But again, the scale isn't going to help you. You need to learn some accessible, beginner style licks. That's going to help you. Then learning scales is going to be easy. You need the licks first. I've said it a whole bunch of times now. Glasgow Kiss, sorry, I don't know any solos at all. It's been 25 years. XCat Mafia is saying on YouTube, that is super impressive, and I love how you play pentatonic. But I think my finger can't play that fast. That's how it is for most people, and which is probably the reason why there are lots of people in this room now, because they're struggling to get better at technique, right? So you're not alone, and that stuff comes with time, provided that you don't push speed. You know, that's the biggest mistake people do. It's like, okay, he plays fast, I'm gonna try to play fast. And when you do that, you're tensing up. And if you practice with the tense technique, guess what? You're never gonna be able to play fast and not even able to play good, because a tense technique is horrible. Just try learning a new sport and being completely tensed. You're just gonna die. So don't push speed, play slowly and relaxed, you know? Try to have your whole upper body relaxed, your arms, your hands, your fingers. And if you play a lot being relaxed, it's going to be easier to finally start playing fast. There was a time, is that from the Chinese Democracy album? There was a time, yeah, I think it is, right? I don't know it though. Cool album. Okay guys, so I think I'm gonna call it a day now, but this is officially the first live stream I do where all my channels except for TikTok is included, and that's very cool. I hope I'll do more of these, and I hope you find it useful. Do you think it's weird when I answer a comment that you can't see? I'm trying to say, oh, this comment was from YouTube, this comment was from Instagram, oh, please like and subscribe. Thank you, corn puppies from YouTube. Very kind of you to encourage people to subscribe. Do you think it's okay? Because if you do think it's okay, this is obviously gonna make me be able to stream more often, and you're gonna catch my streams more often without needing to keep track of all my 4 channels. So that's the idea behind it. I don't know if it's a good idea, you tell me. I think I'll try it some more. I think it has some potential at least. And of course, I want to thank you for all the amazing comments, feedbacks, and questions. These streams wouldn't be anything without those coming in. They'd be pretty useless at least. So I'm very pleased to see that you guys are interested in asking questions and improving and basically getting better at your instrument, which is pretty much what we all have in common here. So thanks so much for being around, for being fantastic. I've been Chris Vidal. Have a good one. See ya.